Alright, we are going to be continuing off of our previous video where we brought in waves crashing and have the audio set up and keeping that on mute throughout most of this series. So with this, I want you to notice that I am on effects, so it is a little bit differently set up than if I'd be on edit. Basically, this right hand bar would be gone. So to get the effect of having the word summer across with the video playing in the background, we are actually going to be adding a new layer under the graphics window. A new layer, rectangle. So that's there for you. Now, the reason why I brought up effects is so I can have a little bit more control. And what will happen is you should be able to see sort of the layering process here. How to move things or arrange them, align them, and then also the appearance. So if you wanted a stroke or a shadow, fill color, what would those be? And we actually want to change this, so just click on that and try to get to all zeros to equal black. And then what we can do, we can either drag it, or I like to just come over here, and all I'm doing here is I'm scrubbing. So if I scrub to the right, so forcing this to the right, it's just making it bigger. And to center it, we're just going to be working with this and this guy. And we can make it a little bit smaller if we want, or keep it that size. So if we scrub a little bit to the left, again, just to save us some room there. And then we want to come down to our type tool. And I want to type out the word summer. So with this, I'm just going to double click it. And you can either come over here and work with the type, or you can come over here. A lot of the same things are on either side. That's how this window is always changing. So I'm going to come over here and pick one that I think will work. And remember, depending on how many computers you work on, you might not have the same typefaces. That's always important to remember. So you want to pick one that you can save or that can work across the board, whatever it is. So let's see, I have that there, regular. I'm going to bring that up. Now this can go past 400. You can easily keep going if you want to. And then if I come over here to align, that's great over there. And the fill in white is fine because we're going to change that. And then what we want to do is come over here to the opacity blending mode, and we want to hit multiply. And it's as easy as that. Now again, the reason why this worked is because we have black, which is soaking up all the information so you can't see the video. If this was another color, let me go a few steps back here. Say this was like a hot pink, and then I write my word, and then I do multiply. You're going to be able to see it. So not necessarily a bad thing. It really just depends on your style, but if you want that pure light cutout, a way to do that is by working with black. I'm sure there are other ways to work with that, but that's just a fun little trick I learned along the way that can really help sell the story, depending on how you use it. And maybe you go from black and then you fade out. There's tons of little tricks you can do. This is just a solid effect of using black to black out the color, or by using a color and working with these. So just like in Photoshop, if you use multiply, color burn will give you a different one. So it just really depends on what you want it to look like. Really figure that out. So a lot of interesting effects here. But again, if you wanted to do it how I did it in the video. And then it only goes so long. If you need it longer, you can just stretch it out. If you want it shorter, you can do the same. So when it plays, there you go. And if you want a little bit more of maybe the rocks or something, you can reposition this video by coming up to here. It's very much like After Effects that way, where you can move it or you can scale it. Depending on how big the video is, maybe you want to get as much as possible. You can scale it like that. You can move it down or up. So maybe I like that better. And the reason why this might look pixelated is because up here in this corner, you can have it full and you can have it run perfect all the time, but that is going to slow down a lot of what you have. So usually you want to run on half, a fourth. If you have a lot of large files, even run on an eighth. If you know what you're doing and you don't need the video crystal clear the whole time, I suggest running lower just to save your computer from possibly crashing or anything like that. But I really like how I made the scale almost 44%. I moved it around a little bit, shows more action, and that's what happens just when that ends. So what I would do now is I would bring this to the right, and then I would just do two things. One, you can highlight this guy and bring him in. You can do that. But if you know that's where you're going to stop, I would come here, line this up so it's perfect, come over to my razor tool, which is C on the keyboard, and what this does, this is great, and honestly probably one of the most common tools you're going to use over here besides your selection tool or type tool. You're going to come and slice it right there, and what that did is that it just divided that scene, and you can see that there with the line coming through. And now you can move this if you wanted to put it in another section, or you can just slice it and hit delete. So let's play our music a little bit. So we might even want this a little bit shorter, which is fine. And also this could be a really nice little almost GIF animation as well if you wanted it to be. But that is how you can give that illusion that the video is playing through type, simply by working with your clip, new graphics there, and then working with type and making it multiply. And so the type is on the box layer, the rectangle there, so the type and the box are multiplied in itself, and that's why I have the type white, and you'll get that crystal clear through. And there you go.